All right. So a long time ago, when we started working on this book, and I didn't have all the knowledge that I have right now, we talked about how the wizard archetype, us being the type to go into our towers, into our laboratories, and just work on something and tune out everything else. The flip side of that is that we are attracted to the jester archetype. So, because the jester is so different. So let's talk more about this. We don't even need to talk about like romantic or intimate relationships between the two archetypes, but just friendships, So could you address this a bit more?
Yeah, the experience of the wizard jester relationship, romantic, friendship, whatever, is largely created by the 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 wizard and the jester for the same reasons. Again, whether it's romantic, whether it's just friendships, they serve each other in a very interesting way. Now, I noticed this first happening working with children in treatment because it's surprising how many wizard kids and parents I worked with in recovery. And when you have a wizard archetype they're so intelligent, they possess a wisdom. They possess abilities. They can be athletic. They can be musical. They can be artistic. The wizard can be anything they want because they master the path. And then when they decide they want to be a drug user, they can very quickly become addicts. And they go very deep because they're trying to master that path as well. A lot of times for the same reasons: trauma, some mental health issues, some brain function deficiencies, or just you tried, you liked it, you kept doing it, now you're dependent on it. Right? Same reasons at the beginning, but wizards tend to go very deep into addiction tendencies because they're trying to master it. They get all the information. But I also noticed that wizards who were really struggling with addiction hung out with bands of jesters. Now, jesters like to hang out with each other. They have very casual, fun relationships. It's very chill. It's very relaxed. It's a lot of outdoor time, camping, climbing, skiing, snowboarding. And they're great together. And then they vanish and don't talk to each other for months at a time and then come back and it's like they never left. And those are very easy relationships for them. Wizards want to be with jesters. Jesters aren't held back by wizards. Jesters don't change for people. And that's one of the things that the wizard admires about the jester archetype. Jesters are casual and they take life lightly. Wizards admire that about the jesters because they take it so seriously. Jesters are positive. Remember, as we write in the book, it's all good. It's all God. Whatever, it'll work out. We're all one. Wizards are like, what? What do you mean by that? But they want the experience of letting go. Wizards can overwhelm themselves often with their thoughts.
Yeah, it's also
They
the
can drive.
contrast between, the jesters being in the now and the wizards going, backwards or forwards, future or past, right?
Right.
Always looking for the flaw, whereas the jester's always, there's no flaw. What are you talking about? It's all good.
Whatever. It's all perfect. It's all good. This is what is, bruh. It's like, wait a second. And remember, in the picture in the book of the wizard, right? One hand's holding the crystal ball, one hand's holding the book. Crystal ball is seeing the future. The book is written about the past. And they are very rarely in the middle. They journey back and forth from that past and future. It's an analysis and they want freedom, which is why wizards do love snowboarding and, riding motorcycles and, backcountry biking and this type of thing that the jesters excel at naturally. The wizards love it And the wizards go into the process and the formula and they master it because they want to do it well. They want to do it right and they want to be good. They don't want to get injured. They want to press an edge, which the jester does naturally. So the wizards tend to find the jesters to inspire them to let go and just experience life. And that can make for a really fun relationship for the wizards. When they fall in love with someone who's spontaneous, charismatic, exciting, adventurous, and they're just, let's go somewhere this weekend. And the wizard partner is like, well, there's like, come on, just forget about it. Let's just go, let it go. And they'll talk the wizard into just jumping in the car and going. And there's no consequence for the jester. The wizard suffers the consequences. But the wizard had fun. They loved the weekend. They had a great time. It was an experience. They let go and had a great time and come back. And all the responsibilities and bills and things are still there. And then the jester wants to do it again the next weekend. And the wizard's like, God, that was so fun. I totally want to do it. You know what? I'm gonna. It's okay. Everything. And they talk themselves into it again. And they rationalize it again. And they keep gestering out. And then they have to wizard back in. And they jester out and wizard back in. One of two things are going to happen. The wizard is just going to embrace the jester side and let go. And they'll suffer for it. Or they start to resent the jester. Because it's like at some point the wizard knows better. Even if they end up going out that following weekend. The wizard's like, I shouldn't be going out. And then the jester's kind of acting crazy. And the wizard's like, I got to go home. Man, I got stuff I should have done. Dang it. And they get on themselves. They get frustrated with themselves. They resent the jester, but they get frustrated with themselves. They're jealous of the jester that they can just let go. And the jester's just living their life. They don't want to hang out and read all weekend. They don't want to just play video games every weekend, all weekend. They want experience. That's their design. The wizard needs downtime and quiet time and alone time. Jester does not. It's not about time. They don't need. They have whatever they desire in that moment. How do they find it? I don't know. It seems to just come to them. And it makes wizards frustrated. So the
can
wizards
they
have
make it work, or what happens usually?
So remember in the book we talk about what you need to do to practice being your warrior, to practice being your bard, to practice being your wizard. That's what you said is the key. Not, can they make it work? No. Right? Because making it work is a wizard warrioring his jester, or a wizard forcing the jester to take over. The jester is about releasing. Right? You have to release the responsibilities. You have to release the idea that you can't do this. You have to release the systems and the formulas and the process. And you have to release the fact that maybe you got a kid and you should show up and be a parent every now and then. Or maybe you're almost out of money and you probably shouldn't have just quit the job, and you do need to get the oil changed in your camper van. And I know you said you were going to work online, but it's just so beautiful in Utah, right? The jestering, a true jestering is a release. Look at what the wizard does when they head out with the jester. They release everything they think they got to do. They let it go. They let go. They don't say, I need to embrace my jester. No, you don't. You need to release your wizard. And that's harder than embracing the jester. Well, when I go snowboarding, I let go. Yeah, only when you're on the slope. The rest of the time, you're thinking about how you could do that trick better and how you could do this and analyze that, and watching other people doing it and saying they have technique, they don't, there's flawed, there's not flawed, I'm going to do it like that, and look at their body position. It's not gesturing. That's not
But
gesturing.
what about if we're talking about their relationship? We started talking about the relationship between a wizard and a jester. So does it usually end well?
No.
If the jester keeps jestering and the wizard just starts building resentment. Like,
No, no, it doesn't. It's a hard relationship to keep sacred and solid for a long time. They're
if
very
they
different.
stay within their separate archetypes, right? If there's no balance, there's no other
Yeah,
archetypes being developed and practiced.
that's right. And really, here's the truth: the wizard will do most of the work. The wizard will do more work in the relationship. The wizard will feel frustration. Will start to say things like, "You can't just do that. You can't just leave and go to a concert. You can't just." No, you can't just. They can. Well, the jester's not long for a wizard-jester relationship. But again, you said the solution to any relationship that is starting to struggle, that you don't want to lose. Step into some of your other archetypes. If you're full on warrior wizard in your relationship and it's starting to keeps repeating a pattern and hitting the wall, you need to let go and jester out together. One of my wife's and my jester out experiences is getting in the camper van and saying right or left. And we take turns deciding whether we're turning right or left. Straight, right, left. And we don't know where we end up, but we have found some of the most amazing free camping spots. The first trip we ever took in our camper van, we right or lefted it. Right or left, straight, go over this hill. I don't know. Hey, that's a dirt road, take right. And we found ourselves at this half-drained reservoir that you could pull all the way out to the water's edge on, and this totally flat, sun-packed mud and the sunset. And we were just like, this is life. This is camper van life. This is van life. It was amazing. I took pictures of it. It was just like, wow. And we accidentally found ourselves in the perfect spot. So, no, the wizard will end up doing most of the work. The warrior will end up doing most of the work, but the warrior will not tolerate the jester for very long. The wizard will. The wizard will suffer this. They will take responsibility. They will try to do things different, or they will shut themselves up in their lab and they will vanish from the relationship and never leave it. Wizards
So both of them
truly
can ghost, just in different ways.
remember, yes, absolutely. Remember, the wizard ghosts internally.
Yeah.
Right? The wizard goes inside to the lab and stays there. You got to slide their food under the door. The jester literally leaves. Just says, this isn't fun. It was a great time. Peace. And is gone. And it's like, but
exactly.
we could have fixed this. We could go to therapy. Yee, that doesn't sound like fun. Yeah. Yeah. So the wizards need the jesters to learn how to jester out, to learn how to let go. But learning how to let go means ultimately one point you got to let go. Jesters are just jesters. This is just how they live. They're hard to be parents with. They're hard to be in love with. They are easy to adore. They're easy to admire. They're easy on the eyes and make your heart go pitter patter, because jesters are exciting, spontaneous, life force energy. Wow, they're just so cool. They are. They really are. It's so frustrating. Because then when it's time to pay bills, they're snowboarding again.
Yeah.
And they took your credit card.
All right, so if you want to learn more, if you want to know more about it, keep following this channel or read the book. We're going to link it down below somewhere.
Nice.